Hello viewers and welcome to your Wednesday edition of Erongo Talk. My name is Leandria Mowers and today we join you from the beautiful Walvis Bay Lagoon. Now as usual we are here to update you on the latest news in our beautiful Erongo region and of course tell you what you can expect in today's print edition of Erongo. Now our focus for today's show is we join Living Desert Tours, Adventures and Tommy's Tours on a special education outing with learners from the Mondesa Youth Opportunities in the Dorob National Park that is near Swakopmund. Now guide Chris Nell explains how life thrives in the Namib dunes and why the four living desert operators have spent, they call themselves the custodians, have spent many years protecting this fragile landscape. Now watch as the children discover the desert secrets, climb the dunes and learn why even a single footprint in the sand tells a story. Now, additionally, the Four Generations Aschenborn exhibition is now open at Die Muschel in Swakopmund, celebrating over 100 years of Namibian art and family legacy. Now, the exhibition features works that is by four generations of Aschenborn family, known for their deep connection to wildlife and Namibian landscape. Now, this exhibition is running until the 13th of December 2025. That is at Die Muschel in Swakopmund at the Brauhaus Arcade. Now, you've got to stay tuned as we bring you all of this right here on Erongo Talk. Kicking off this week's news highlights, Namport hosted its annual Port Users Dinner and Stakeholders Dinner in Walvis Bay, bringing together key industry players to reflect on progress in Namibia's port sector and set future development priorities. Now, Namport Chief Executive Officer, that is Andrew Kanime, outlined several major infrastructure projects aimed at enhancing the port's operational capacity and regional competitiveness.
As far as the Port of Walvis Bay Southport infrastructure development is concerned, just to indicate that over the last, since the beginning of the year, we're really proud to indicate that we have managed to ensure that the capital and maintenance dredging for our access channel and of course various pockets of our beds have been obviously completed. As far as capital dredging is concerned, thanks to our partner, I see Alex is in the room, the CEO of Terminal Investment Limited. When we were bringing him here to say, please come and help us manage the new container terminal, one of the entry tickets was to say, we are unable to handle bigger vessels. So please deepen and widen our access channel. And as of April 2025, early this year, we've managed to widen and deepen our access channel. And with that, we are actually now able to handle the biggest vessels that you can find on earth. And of course, we use the opportunity also to make sure that we carry out maintenance dredging, because on a periodic basis, more specifically every 5 years, we need to ensure that, our channel, our berth pockets.
Secondly, the Erongo Governor, Natalia Gwagoses, addressed participants at the Public Service Marathon held at the Veneta Central Sports Stadium in Swakopmund under the theme Public Service Awareness, Raising Campaign on Mental Health and Suicide Prevention. Now, she reminded public servants that kindness, respect and appreciation in the workplace can make a meaningful difference regardless of one's position.
Dear colleagues, let us also be mindful of how we treat one another in the workplace. A kind word, just a greeting, or a simple thank you can go a long way in lifting someone's spirit. No one should ever feel belittled or invisible at their workplace of work, or office, or conferences, wherever you are executing your tasks. Whether you are a cleaner, driver, secretary, nurse, social worker, psychologist or director, or even a governor, so-called governor. Each of us play an indispensable role in the machinery of government.
In today's print edition of Erongo, which you can find inside the Republikein, Namibian Sun or the Algemeine Zeitung, this is what you can expect. Now on our front page, we feature the 27 pupils from the Mondesa Youth Opportunities who recently spent a Saturday morning exploring the Namib dunes outside Swakopmund, discovering how life survives in one of the driest places on earth. Now that is also our focus for today's show. Now we also cover Old Mutual's donation of school uniforms, as well as a recent visit that is by Global United as well as the Godwana Care Trust to the Yahweh Special School that is based here in Walvis Bay. Now, our hospitality sector is gearing up for the festive season, and the regional police commander, that is Commissioner Nicolaus Kupumbona, reaffirmed that the police are redoubling their efforts to ensure tourist safety as well as visitor safety during this upcoming festive season. Now, additionally, the Swakopmund municipality will host its annual year-end sports tournament that is from the 28th to the 30th of November 2025 at the Tamariskia Sports Fields. Now, we also highlight Malush Fashion Shop that is based here in Walvis Bay, and then we celebrate the achievements of Melissa Miller at the South African Championships of Performing Arts. Now, you can read all of this inside the Erongo, that is inside the Republikein, Namibian Sun or the Algemeine Zeitung, or you can simply head on over to our website, that is www.erongo.com.na.
Life is unpredictable and one needs to be protected against any eventuality. Get Santam legal access from as little as $50 Namibian a month for when you find yourself in need of legal representation due to civil cases, criminal prosecution, and family matters such as divorce, child maintenance, and custody. It also covers labor disputes, disciplinary hearings, and unfair dismissal or retrenchment. With Santam Legal Access, you'll receive free legal advice on almost every legal aspect, whether the specific matter is covered by your policy or not. For true peace of mind and legal protection when you need it most, call us on 061 292 8000. Santam. This is freedom.
Up next, Mondesa Youth Opportunities learners explores the Namib dunes with living desert adventures, and Tommy Stores discovering how life adapts and why the custodians are committed to protecting this fragile environment. Also, Hannelise Kenzia, third generation descendant of Dieter Aschenborn, shares more about the Four Generations Aschenborn exhibition that is currently on display at Die Muschel in Swakopmund.
I grew up in Swakopmund. I went to school here, I grew up here, and I just fell in love with the ocean. That's where my whole love for nature started. It started with the sea, doing a lot of fishing, diving, surfing, and I always knew I wanted to have a career in nature, but I ended up going to study as an engineer, electrical engineer. I did qualify as an engineer, and then I worked at Rossing Uranium, and after 2 years of working there, I realized this is not me as a person. I still want to be in nature because animals, nature, landscapes, plants, it's just fascinating. And so I left everything, and then I went first back to the sea. I did a deep sea diving course. I did commercial diamond recovery in Ludwitz Bay. I lived on the beach for a year, very privileged. In those years you could still do it, the early 90s. And I just started spinning ideas through my head. How can I survive but spend my life in nature? And obviously tourism will come, because with tourism, every day you're in these pristine, beautiful places. And Namibia has the most beautiful landscapes, I would say, in one country, the most varied, beautiful, non-touched landscapes in the world, probably in Africa, of varieties. And to be able to just share that with people, but still you need to make a living somehow. This is my passion, and it's just so special when tourists come and they ask you any question and you can answer it. So what is that plant? We give them the name. What is that animal? We give them the name. And wow, this is amazing. And just to see the joy in their face, that's really worth it. It makes every day special. It's another day at the office. My life is tourism. My life is this desert next to Swakopmund. This has been the biggest project of my life, to just bring it to this point that we can have this amazing, untouched, beautiful desert right next to town. This is about education. We've got such a beautiful inheritance. If you just look here, right next to Swakopmund, and it's so important that you know your backyard. Imagine you had this house and this beautiful garden, and you didn't even know what's going on in your garden. And this is the backyard of Swakopmund. It's a beautiful place. It's a special place. It's a unique place, and it's one of a kind on earth. And it's so important that the children that live here also get an opportunity to understand what makes it so special, to enjoy it. And once you understand something and you enjoy something, it's at that point that you cherish it and you protect it. Yeah, we've been doing this. We've been running these Living Desert educational tours. We started the Living Desert in the late 1990s, and in about 2005 we became more established, and about from that time we took thousands of children on educational tours. We don't just see it as a social responsibility, we do it out of love. People come and they approach us, they know what we're doing, and they ask us, are you willing to share these wonderful things, these experiences and this beauty of our desert with the children, the less privileged children, and we do it. Tourism, because that's the heartbeat of Swakopmund, that we look after what we've got and that we educate the children on what we've got. And in that way, they can utilize this beautiful desert and attract, they can start careers in tourism. Yeah, the Dorob has a long history. When we started these tours more than 25 years ago, this was an open zone, it was a free zone. People could do what they want to, when they want to, with whatever they want to. And they basically really wrecked the place. Growing up here in Swakopmund, spent a lot of time in the dunes, realized there's a lot of endemic little animals, endemic plants, there's a special ecosystem, and we could share that. It was an idea. We could share that with foreigners, and we could create a product. But the problem was we couldn't sell the product because it was all destroyed. So the plan was to try to protect this on our doorstep and to be able to promote it into tourism. And that's where the Dorob came in. It was a long fight, it was a difficult fight. With the help of Rod Braby, I would say he's the hero of the Dorob Park. He's the guy that really did the most. But a whole lot of us together created awareness that there is a problem. Rod Braby, he managed to secure funds through the World Bank, started up Nakoma. Nakoma is Namibian Coastal Management. This Nakoma went out and did surveys, and Nakoma became the interface between the public, the tour operators, and to the government. So they would collect the data. There would be meetings. It went on for 5 years, meetings every week, and they would collect the data. What do people want? What is the problem? What can we do? How can we solve this problem? And then they would take this information to government. And over a period of 4 to 5 years, the management plan was created through Nakoma on how to implement a park. But the Dorob Park is a very special place because it's the only park that has 3 cities in it. So you have people moving in the park, doing their daily things all the time. So you can't apply the same rules in Dorob as you do in Etosha. The challenges are uncontrolled tourism, number one. Mass tourism that is not done in a proper way will just take everything and it will just start from the beginning again. And it's so important that the children, you can work with children. They're like clay. You can teach them things, they listen, you can mold them. Adults, they really have their own mind. So we really enjoy working with the children and teaching them about our future and the future of conservation. And that would be a challenge, is to get all the children on board and for them to understand. And once they understand, and it's also important that they benefit from this beautiful setup here, and tourism would definitely be one of the ways that they could benefit as adults.
I'm the daughter of Dieter Aschenborn, very well-known artist. He has been here, he's the second generation because my grandfather came to Southwest Africa at that time and had a farm near Ozire, which was destroyed during the war. He came back and he had to move back to Germany for the sons to go to school in Kiel. That's where they originate from. But my father came back after his father had passed away. They decided to come back to South Africa first, and then he was asked to do the Van Riebeeck Fears, and he did the stand of Southwest Africa at that time, and they were so grateful, and it was the best stall of the whole show. So they asked him if he would like to be the first game warden there. They had one main game warden who sat in Utu behind the desk, and he did all the work. He did the new roads and whatever was necessary. There was a policeman still up there. I was 3 years old, 1953. And my brother was 2 years older than I am, and we thought that was paradise. And from there on, we were every second year somewhere. My father was an artist. He very much sustained us all with his art. He did the quirkiest things sometimes. For a washing machine, he made something for Mrs. Leich, who sold the washing machine. She wanted a Madonna, just a flat worked woodcut in white. So she got that, we got the washing machine. So my mom didn't have to wash by hand anymore, and that's how we remember. And my father would be, this year he would have been on the 15th, 11th, 15th. He would then be 110 years old if he had lived that much and that long.
Right, tell us about the art exhibition.
Then it's my grandfather who was doing animals, my father who did animals, it is my brother who did animals. That's the third generation, my generation. But I've also got a daughter who's a VJ in Cape Town and well known all over the world, who works with art, with music, with light, does enormous light shows, and is, like I say, fourth generation. I've got a great grandchild now, so we're 6 generations of Aschenborns now. My brother, Uli, Hans Ulrich, he still lives in Aachen. But he has had many, many exhibitions, and he's very, very well known for also for depicting the animals of our country, as was his grandfather and his father. And they vote that, I don't know how, but South Africa made him one of the 12 best artists. So that was some years ago, because he developed a new look at art. He has pictures that you can turn around and then they change, or you walk towards the picture and it changes, or he's got a very weird brain, open to very weird things. So if you want to see that, you're welcome to open all the links that I will give you.
Okay.
take those.
Right.
So Peter and I decided we'll have the Four Generations of Aschenborn art here, because there had been much talk about this year is the year, and some people also like the Arts Association. They just had the other opening at the Wehrmann House, but I can't walk the steps at them anymore. At the moment, I'm a bit restricted.
Okay.
My back is a bit sore.
Right. Tell us, this art exhibition that is currently happening, can you just tell our viewers what it's all about and what can people expect from this type of art?
Okay. The art exhibition that is on at the moment depicts mainly animals, but my father was a great rider, but he worked horses in the field with cattle and everything. My daughter, my eldest daughter, and my eldest son, and the next ones, I had 5 children, they all went into the teams for the junior show jumping championships and for representing our country. I did, my husband did. My surname is Kensia, and I had riding school for about 30 years, or 40. 40. And I taught a lot of English kids and Afrikaans kids who wouldn't otherwise have had dressage lessons, but I taught them in the bush. And then my husband took over for the ones that were then more advanced. So you can also see horses, because he loved them. My grandfather was a very good rider. He had horse pictures. And my father developed the art to paint on leather and also to cut the leather. So we actually have this love for the animals in us. So my father, there's one leather painting if you go around with a springbuck that you can see. Then there are some contour drawings, that is charcoal or a flat one that you just do the contours of an animal. So there are some of those. There are some exquisite watercolors from my father. There's only one painting for sale from my grandfather, because you don't get them so very often, but books are for sale.
Okay.
They were reprinted by the youngest brother of my father, so as Die Muschel van Aschenborn. It was very long, it was a school book. My father himself made books for Oshibambo, Ilatulesha, and the ones that still have them, they treasure them, because everything in there he did the drawings very accurate, and then they said, yeah, but that that monkey is wrong, you have to do another one. It's got the wrong patterns and things. If they use it for corn, it has to look like this. So he got shown, and he had to do it the way they wanted to. And he also did the Bushman school book. They were pencil drawings, beautiful, and he also he did a lot for the art. Well, let's say at the government there was one, I don't know what it was called. It depicted all of our indigenous people. You know, there was a big woodcut from the Oshwam, from the Himba, and so man and woman, and the traditional dresses and everything.
Right. For people that are interested, you know, they have a passion for art, for books and all that. Can you just kindly inform us where can they get this type of books, and how much are they mostly?
The books are very cheap at the moment. I think something like $50 or so for the Die Muschel van Aschenborn. They're very well illustrated still, so but there are not so many people that read Afrikaans at the moment. But I would say if we would do something with the Rehoboth Museum, it should well go away easily. You can get books at the Muschel, but you can get also the antiquary, the old, proper old books at Peter Reinhardt's other shop.
Okay.
the bookshop, and you can get some pictures now that the family really gave, because we cannot have exhibition just for showing the most beautiful ones, but they have to have some that they can sell.
All right. So, any last words that you would have for your viewers?
Any last words? I think the art of the Aschenborns is so well known that anybody in Namibia also knew my father by him being a tour guide. And he was very well known, but now of course he's not been around for that. So we want to remember him, and that's why I mainly did the exhibition.
Thank you so much for having us today.
Thank you.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode of Erongo Talk. But you are always welcome to check out our social media platforms, that is Facebook, Instagram, Threads, X, as well as TikTok, for some behind the scenes content and just what is happening here in our beautiful Erongo region. You can always catch us, that is every Wednesday and every Friday, that is on oneup2.com, or that is on NTV, that's DSTV channel 285 and GoTV channel 25. That is every Wednesday and Friday at 1:30. Now, until Friday, please keep safe. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.